Now at 9, police in Oklahoma investigate a shooting that injured a 5-year-old boy.
Lawmakers in D.C. at odds over what's behind the recent spike in crime in the U.S. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with details coming up.
2 Columbus High School seniors are helping to launch a program to get composting into their communities. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with those details.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Aubie. Ottawa County Sheriff's is investigating a shooting that sent a 5-year-old boy to the hospital. It happened early this morning at a home on North Main in Fairland, Oklahoma. Authorities say someone attempting to shoot a dog or a coyote missed, and the bullet went into the house and hit the 5-year-old boy in bed. The boy was taken to a nearby hospital in stable condition. Ottawa County Sheriff David Dean says while the investigation is still ongoing, they do know who the shooter is and that it wasn't intentional.
If he wouldn't have came forward, then it would have been a whole lot harder. We would have had to figure out the trajectory of it and just try to start talking to people to see who maybe shot at the dog, but we don't have to do that today.
Sheriff also says the shooter is a minor, so they will not be releasing the name. Again, at last report, the 5-year-old victim was in stable condition. All right, meteorologist Doug Katie joining us now. Chilly night, but great earlier today.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good stretch of weather, at least over the past couple days. And again, as we go through the next few days, temperatures look pretty good. 61 was our high. We started at the freezing point. 48 is our normal high for this time of the year. Pretty much clear skies. Not too much is going on here. We do have some clouds which are starting to increase. A very weak wave out across Nebraska, northwestern Kansas. Most of this is going to fall apart as it works in, but I do think we'll get a few random sprinkles in here, maybe a random flurry very late tonight into tomorrow morning. Mid-40s right now. It's cooling down. We'll back down near freezing once again for us tonight. We're going to look at the next week or so coming up here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. There's a new partnership between law enforcement agencies in Northeast Oklahoma, the Quapaw Nation, and 6 state and local agencies, including Miami Police and Ottawa County Sheriff, signed a cross-deputization agreement. The agreement allows the local law enforcement to assist tribal marshals within reservation boundaries.
You're looking at could be upward of 100 plus officers that gets commissioned because, of course, with Highway Patrol, you have a lot of troopers in the area, not only in the county but on the turnpike, and then you've got all these other officers with the city of Miami. Whichever one of them could come in contact or work on Quapaw Nation land, so they would all have to be commissioned.
The signing ceremony was hosted at the tribe's Coyote Center. Composting is a way to break down things like food scraps that can be used as soil to help plants grow. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky tells us about the effort of 2 Columbus High School seniors to bring composting to their school, also community.
We all took up new hobbies at the start of the pandemic. For Columbus High School seniors Emily Welch and Casey Soper, that was composting.
In March, when everything shut down, I kind of had more time to think about what all I was doing with my life. And I was like, well, what if I decided to reduce my carbon footprint?
I got really bored and had food scraps. So I kind of got sick of throwing them away because they smelled bad. And I was like, what can I do with this? So the internet is really helpful. And it told me that if I just put it all together and let it decompose, then eventually I would have dirt, which is in soil, which is really fancy science.
The two not only gained an interest in composting, but saw a need for it in their community. So they got to work.
We have a project-based learning class, and I decided to join that class, and it gave me more time to think about this and more time to plan it out. I had everything planned out, and then it turns out the K-State Extension Office, they had a grant already in place to do this. So everything kind of just fell into place.
And their idea has come to life with a composting site.
The way the composting bin works is like this. First, open up the bin. Now the food is inside, push these 2 levers back, the food falls down here. You crank this lever, and then in 6 months, open this up, and you'll have soil.
It takes out unnecessary things in the trash. So you don't have to throw away as much trash. So if you throw away an apple core in the trash, it's probably gonna smell bad, and it won't break down in the trash bag when you throw it in the landfill. So it just takes up space.
And with more of these sites in the area, these two say they're glad they can help out more than just their community.
Lots of hobbies can help the environment. So it was really nice to find something that I could do that would benefit me and the community and the earth as a whole.
In Columbus, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The two seniors say they plan to start an on-campus club so more students can participate. EPA is hosting an online public session to outline plans for a Superfund cleanup process in Weir, Kansas. Meeting is tomorrow from 6 to 7 p.m. You can find a link to the meeting on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. If you don't have internet access, by the way, you can view the meeting at the Weir Public Library on East Main. New York, several other states dropping some of their indoor mask mandates. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri has more on this story.
Overall cases are down, positivity rates down, hospitalizations are down, cases per 100,000 are down, and new admissions are down. That is a beautiful picture.
States all over the U.S. are easing up on their mask mandates as COVID-19 cases trend downward nationwide. New York lifting their statewide indoor mask and vaccine mandates for businesses starting Thursday. The governor is not easing all restrictions, though. Face coverings will still be required in all healthcare facilities, schools, and on all forms of public transportation. But the CDC director is doubling down on her agency's recommendations, saying now is not the moment to drop mask mandates in schools.
At this time, we continue to recommend masking in areas of high and substantial transmission. That's much of the country right now in public indoor settings. And so we're, of course, taking a close look at this as we look at updating and reviewing our guidance.
Critics say the remark is creating confusion and say the agency is going overboard as more and more states are deciding to drop their requirements for face coverings.
It's time to give our kids a sense of normalcy.
California, Connecticut, Delaware, New Jersey, and Oregon say they plan to lift indoor mask mandates for K-12 public schools in the coming weeks. New York's governor is facing mounting pressure to follow suit. Meanwhile, Dr. Anthony Fauci says he believes the U.S. is heading out of the pandemic phase, saying he believes most restrictions will be lifted in the coming months. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
The Southwest Missouri Cyber Crimes Task Force is warning parents about what it calls sextortion among youths. Authorities say 1 in 6 youths, ages 9 to 17, have shared a nude image with someone. And in 41% of those cases, the image was sent to someone believed to be an adult.
And what we've run into, me specifically, I've run into where like a teenager is in a relationship with someone online, like Snapchat, and they ask for inappropriate pictures, they send them, and the next thing you know, they're saying, hey, if you don't give me X amount of dollars, then I'm going to post this on your social media, your families, and you're going to be exposed. So we run into that quite a bit.
Officials say the best thing you can do is just talk to your kids about these issues and be their trusted adult. Rising crime in American cities continues to be a major concern for state and local leaders. Polls show it's a top issue for voters heading into the 2022 midterms, but congressional lawmakers are divided on how best to get it under control. Fox's Madeline Rivera has the latest now from Washington.
Combating crime is part of the job for police departments across the country. But in 2022, officers are facing unprecedented challenges. Several U.S. cities set new homicide records for 2021. Many sheriffs in charge of leading their departments through the pandemic are demanding more funding to hire additional officers.
The fact is, people are dying on the street, and it's not because of law enforcement. It's because of the absence of law enforcement, the absence of enforcing the rule of law.
Republican lawmakers are pointing the finger directly at Democrats and progressive district attorneys, accusing them of being soft on crime and providing criminals with lenient sentences.
We ought to be doing everything we can to support our men and women in blue, including making sure that they are funded appropriately.
Last week, President Biden made a visit to New York, which is struggling with a surge in crime. His administration is working to get illegal guns off the streets and expand programs that help troubled youths and teens. Some congressional Democrats are disavowing past rhetoric from their progressive colleagues who have advocated for defunding the police.
When we take the time to talk to communities throughout our nation, particularly those in high crime areas, you know what they tell us? Those communities say, we want to fund the police.
At least one prominent progressive lawmaker is defending her stance on defunding the police. Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush stands by the slogan and says her party needs to do more to explain the meaning behind it. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Robert Dreisbach served in the U.S. Army From 1933 to 58, native of Cherryvale, Kansas, Dreibach won a bronze medal, Purple Heart, and several other awards. We are proud to thank and salute Robert Dreisbach. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Keddy's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Pitt State softball roll into a doubleheader sweep on opening day. We're gonna have those highlights and more in sports.
At U.S. Cellular, we're local.
Well, it turned out to be another great day for us today. Another nice Wednesday. Temperatures up into lower 60s during the afternoon. And overall, temps look pretty good the next couple days. But we do have a strong cold front that rolls in late Friday. So this is really going to cool us down as we head into the weekend, especially on Saturday. It's short-lived. Then we bounce right back early next week. Big warm-up. Thunderstorms Wednesday. Some of these could be strong, maybe low-grade severe. So we need to keep our eyes on that. Plus, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog, KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, look at the temps. Past couple days, pretty good for the first third of February. Lower 60s yesterday. We did go into lower 60s once again for us today. Chilly nights, dipping back near freezing. And temperatures right now, most of us are sitting into the mid-40s. Case in point, 41. In Nevada, 48, and Anderson, 42 in Miami. Parsons, a little bit cooler at 37 degrees. 7th and Rangeline looks good, 44. Humidity is at 45%. We do have some clouds, which have been increasing over the past couple hours. A very weak little wave is heading toward us as we go through the overnight hours tonight. You can see a few showers out across central western Kansas. Most of this is going to fall apart, but we are going to see the clouds. We may get a random sprinkle, maybe a random flurry later on tonight, and then it quickly pushes on by. But you can see the jet stream. It's out of Canada, so these little waves, they drop in. They're fairly weak. You can see another one building, which will affect us by the time we head into Friday. No big storm systems, just these little guys kind of pushing through. All right, a lot of clouds, random sprinkle, late tonight, random flurry. Tomorrow morning, clouds clear, and we look pretty good. A little bit cooler than what we did see today, but I still think we'll go into the mid-50s. 33 to start, 50 by noon, high temp 55, southerly winds at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, clouds move right back in. We'll have mostly cloudy skies. On Friday, cold front rolls in about the noon hour, but the cold air is going to lag behind it a bit, so I still think we'll get near 60. There is a chance we may get a few random showers Friday evening into Friday night, and then we really cool down again by the time we head into Saturday. So Saturday is going to be cold. We only go into the 30s, 4 highs. We rebound back near 50 Super Bowl Sunday. So if you're heading out to any Super Bowl parties, you don't have to worry about any wet or snowy or icy roads across the region. Monday looks good. Tuesday into the 60s. Then here comes our next storm system. Chances for thunderstorms. And again, some of those could be strong. May even get a little bit of snow on the backside by Thursday. 55 tomorrow, 60 on Friday, only 36 Saturday. Back to 50 on Sunday. Valentine's Day, 60. Looks pretty good, 65 Tuesday. Thunderstorms Wednesday.
Almost like we're in the desert. Warm during the day and then really cool at night.
Yeah, we're entering that part of the year where our temperatures are just all over the place.
We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Coming up, union jobs.
Could all Hill staffers soon be able to join a union? There's a push for it here on Capitol Hill. I'm Lauren Blanchard. Plus, President Biden says he wants more union jobs in general. How he plans to get them.
We're making
Area high school and college students put their welding skills to the test. Crowder College today hosted the Southwest District Skills USA Welding Competition. Students today were divided into teams for competitions, but tomorrow they're going to perform solo.
So this is a really good opportunity for the students to be exposed to what those employers and those contractors are going to want. So this looks really good on a resume. It's a good resume building skill and activity, because a lot of these contractors are looking for folks that have this teamwork ability, as well as this ability to read prints and work independently, but also as well as a team.
It's good stuff. The winners will compete at the state level in the spring and going to get a scholarship to Crowder to continue their education. An Instagram account calling out bad behavior by lawmakers, now leading to calls for better working conditions for the lowest paid on Capitol Hill. The push, getting some high-up support even, as President Biden is also pushing for more union jobs across the country. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in D.C. now with more.
Through the long history of workers' rights in this country, change has always been driven by brave workers.
Spurred by an anonymous Instagram account shining light on poor working conditions like low pay, long hours, mistreatment, and safety concerns for congressional office staff, one Michigan lawmaker now helping the public push to allow all Hill staffers to unionize.
Recognize that congressional workers have the right to organize without fear of retaliation. There's no cause for further delay.
Already, some Hill staff, like Capitol Police, are allowed to unionize under a law passed in 1995. The new resolution would allow those working in House offices the same ability. The Senate would need to pass a similar resolution.
Yes, I support what he's asking for, but my understanding is that they would like to review that, modernize it, bring it up to date.
Calls to improve worker conditions have picked up across the country, such as Amazon and Starbucks. President Biden hosted utility company CEOs Wednesday while pushing for more union jobs through his Build Back Better bill.
The investment is going to support the creation of hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs all across the country.
Democratic House and Senate leaders signal they are behind more unionization, but not all lawmakers are as enthusiastic about it within their offices.
So we got to make sure we're doing it and doing it right.
Unionizing congressional staff would be a huge lift. Each office has its own policies, and the House and the Senate operate under different rules. On Capitol Hill, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Still ahead, look at the frustration over students suspended for refusing to wear those masks, but there are no suspensions for things like extreme bullying. Making changes to that diet could add years to your life. Norwegian researchers found young adults living in the U.S. could add more than 10 years to their life expectancy by changing to a diet that includes more legumes, whole grains, and nuts, rather than red meat and processed meat, less of that stuff. Many parents upset students are being suspended from school for refusing to wear masks, while children guilty of much more severe issues like bullying, severe bullying, are allowed to stay. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has this story.
So then they're just suspended for the day.
When suspensions were given to several maskless Virginia students last month, they were handed down by school districts that otherwise oppose suspensions for most types of misbehavior. Thousands of schools across the country have sought to utilize an increasingly popular process known as restorative justice, which replaces traditional punishments with relationship building. A goal of restorative justice is to reduce suspensions. It's applied to minor infractions like students talking too much in class to more significant ones like fighting. So when suspensions were issued over masks, families were taken aback.
Kids see hypocrisy when it hits them across the face like it is right now. Quite literally with the mask issue.
Others have taken issue with restorative justice as a whole.
Expecting students to sit down with someone and listen to why that other student feels the need to attack them and assault them is unacceptable.
A leading restorative justice researcher says it's not the same as soft on crime policies.
Rather than saying there's something wrong with this kid and we need to get rid of them, hey, there's something going on with this kid and we need to work relationally to figure out how to address whatever needs are there.
Fairfax County, Virginia is among the school districts that utilizes this approach and tells Fox News that they have seen success through a reduction in misbehavior and suspensions. But last month, they did issue suspensions to students who arrived without masks. And for that, they did not explain if a restorative justice option was given to those students to avoid suspension. Well, there has now been legislative movement. 10 state Senate Democrats sided with Republicans and approved an amendment that will allow Virginia parents to decide if their child should wear a mask in school. The bill that amendment is attached to is scheduled to be voted on Wednesday. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
That bill in Virginia passed today in that state's Senate. It's now going to need to pass the House and then get signed by the governor. All right, up next, going to find out who these manatees in Florida are picking to win Sunday's Super Bowl.
Connect to culture.
A pair of Florida manatees weigh in on the Super Bowl. Hugh and Buffet at Moat Aquarium in Sarasota have made their Super Bowl picks. Look at those guys, how big they are. All right, the duo have decided, Cincinnati Bengals are going to defeat the Los Angeles Rams in Super Bowl 56 on Sunday. Buffet wasted no time picking the Bengals, but Hugh was a little bit more indecisive. You know, he didn't want to tick people off. Aquarium staff eventually calling it for Cincinnati. If you're worried about the odds, by the way, last year, Buffet picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the winner. So I don't know that much about football. I like watching football, but for expert advice, I just quickly asked Doug Heddy who he thinks is going to win. You're pulling for the Bengals, but you won't be surprised if the Rams win, right?
The Rams should win.
The Rams should win. All right. But you're pulling for the Bengals. All right. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. How a new bus is going to help the Neosho, Missouri School District get students to and from school.
Russia continues building up its forces on the border with Ukraine. I'm Lucas Tomlinson in Kyiv, Ukraine. I'll have the details coming up.
Pittsburgh State today highlighted the artists behind the university's latest exhibit. The exhibit on display in PSU's Porter Hall features work from 6 Pitt State alumni who are affiliated with Art Forms Gallery in downtown Pittsburgh.
I really like that I'm able to share this with other students and people who live in the area and show them another type of artwork.
The exhibit is going to be open through the 18th. A local church is celebrating Valentine's Day early. Celebration Church today hosted a Valentine's banquet. People were able to get a meal, join in on prayer, play some games. There was also a silent auction with proceeds funding the church's student ministry.
Valentine's Day is a special time to celebrate with your sweetheart, and so to get together, our youth serve, so they learn what it's like to invest in their parents through this. So that's probably my favorite part. And then we have comedy tonight and some entertainment, some games. We'll play the Newlywed Game, different things like that. So it'll be a lot of fun.
More than 60 items were auctioned off at the event. The Neosho School District has a new ride to get students to and from school. It's called a Type A style bus. Officials say it can accommodate up to 25 students plus 2 wheelchairs. Now, as we're seeing, it is more compact than standard buses, making it easier to get around town. Also, more fuel efficient.
Overall, I think the kids are really going to enjoy it. Like I said, for smaller kids, it's less intimidating for them. For the bus drivers trying to get in and out around some of the smaller subdivisions, the buses are going to be easier to turn around and maneuver within those subdivisions. And overall, we're just looking for a good experience for the kids.
School officials say they hope to get more Type A buses in the future. The U.S. Army unveiling its climate strategy plan to cut down on carbon emissions and electrify its fleet of vehicles. The new strategy calls for a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030, with an ultimate goal of 0 emissions by 2050. As part of that, goals include creating an all-electric, non-tactical, or non-combat fleet by 2035 and fully electric tactical vehicles by 2050. The White House is making plans to help Americans inside Ukraine if Russia invades. The decision coming as more Russian forces move to the front lines. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has more.
Tensions escalating near Ukraine's border. Pentagon now planning for U.S. troops in Poland to help Americans evacuate Ukraine if Russia invades. The Wall Street Journal reports the White House approved a plan for U.S. troops to set up camps and checkpoints in Poland if needed. U.S. officials expect up to 5 million refugees to flee Ukraine if Russia attacks. An estimated 30,000 Americans are still in the country.
We have a range of diplomatic presences, not only in Ukraine, but in neighboring countries that are always available for U.S. citizens should they need assistance.
The U.S. and its allies continue building up their presence in NATO countries around Ukraine. About 100 American service members have arrived in Romania, with another 1,000 NATO troops on the way.
The focus of this particular mission, of course, is to reinforce the NATO alliance, to build that trust and confidence, to reassure our allies, and to strengthen the eastern flank of the NATO alliance.
Meanwhile, Russia moving more weapons near Ukraine's border, including short-range ballistic missiles and air defense systems. The country will also begin joint military drills with Belarus beginning Thursday. Defense officials say there are no signs of any Russian military pullback.
We believe that we are now in the window where they could take action, which is why the diplomacy is so intense and why we are so focused on trying to find another path.
Ukraine announced the start of its own 10 days of military drills beginning Thursday. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
A bit later, that Freedom Convoy getting even more attention.
The Freedom Convoy in Canada, not just snarling traffic all around Parliament Hill, but also blocking international travel between the U.S. and Canada in some places. I'm Emily Line in Ottawa, and I'll have the latest on that coming up.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another great day for us today. Temperatures fantastic as we went into lower 60s during the afternoon. Temps really stay pretty good as we go into the next couple days, but we are kind of on a roller coaster ride. We're going to see some changes. Big weekend cool down, short-lived, warm right back up early next week. Thunderstorm chances next Wednesday. Some of those could be strong, maybe low-grade severe. It's a week away, but still something we want to watch. Plus, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. But temps have been pretty good. You got to think, just 1 week ago today, we were getting snow. We had 6 inches of snow, and it was cold. 60s for us yesterday. We dropped back near freezing. Lower 60s once again for us today. Temperatures, they're not bad right now. Most of us 40 to about 45 degrees. Looks good. 7th and range line currently at 44. Humidity is at 45%. Pressure is slowly rising. Clouds slowly increasing across the region. We have a weak little wave out across northern Kansas, southern parts of Nebraska. You can see a few light little showers. This is going to zoom in as we go through the overnight hours. Most of the moisture is going to fall apart, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got a few random sprinkles or a few random flurries by the time we head into the morning hours. Look at the jet stream out of Canada. So if you look north, here's the next wave building. These aren't big storm systems, just fast moving little waves. That second one will affect us on Friday. So clouds tonight, random sprinkle, random flurry. Clouds start to work out through the morning hours. By the afternoon, we go into the mid-50s. Not too bad. Here's your day planner starting at 33, 50 by noon. High temp of 55. Winds will switch out of the southwest as we go into the afternoon. Clouds increase again tomorrow night. Partly to mostly cloudy skies on Friday. Front drops in about the noon hour, but the cold air kind of lags behind just a bit. So clouds really thicken late in the day. I still think we go near 60, but there is a slight chance we could get a few showers in here late Friday into Friday night, and then we cool way down again. By the time we head into Saturday morning, we dip back into the 20s. We really don't go anywhere. We'll only warm up into the mid-30s. So Saturday is going to be cold. We rebound near 50 by Super Bowl Sunday. It's going to be dry. Monday looks good, Valentine's Day. Tuesday looks good. Thunderstorm chances increase by Wednesday. On the colder side of this system, by Thursday, we may get a little bit of snow. So we'll keep our eyes on that bigger system over the next week or so. 55 tomorrow, 60 on Friday, only 36 Saturday, back to 50 on Sunday.
Isn't that crazy what you pointed out 1 week ago today?
Yeah.
They're just getting pummeled.
I know, kind of crazy.
It is. Doug Heddy, thank you. Coming up in sports, Pittsburgh and Frontenac Wrestling meeting for the 3rd edition of the Crosstown Throwdown. Plus, 3 Southeast Kansas football standouts signing to continue their careers in college, including 2 in the MIAA. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Well, tonight is rivalry night for Pittsburgh and Frontenac Wrestling. The 2 teams meet in Pittsburgh tonight for the 3rd edition of the Crosstown Throwdown. Now, the rivalry series is 1-1 after Pittsburgh won it last year. To tonight, Pittsburgh's Seth Gann entering the night with a 19-5 record, wrestling Wyatt Frazier at 145 pounds. He gets the fall just 54 seconds in. Then at 160, good one here, Dawson Lapping and J.J. White. Lapping wins that one by decision to stay undefeated. Biggest match of the night, number 1 ranked Justice Compton and 5th ranked Matt Smith. Compton gets the takedown for Frontenac, and later the near fall. He would go on to win this one by decision 11-4. Now at 195, Jaquan Augustin, 21-6 this year, picks up another win tonight by Penn. Gets it done in the first period. The Purple Dragons avoid losing by fall all night. They cruise by Frontenac 51-15.
We had to scrap and battle for every match we won at the beginning. Towards the end, we started getting some pins, and that really helped us out. They got 2 guys that are ranked #1 in the state, and we only gave up 3 points on those 2 matches. So that was huge for my team. All my team fought great, and I'm just really proud of my guys. We got a big victory, dominant victory tonight, so we're going to keep the trophy at home for many years to come.
Well, today is opening day for Pitt State softball. The Gorillas are at home this afternoon, kicking off their schedule with a doubleheader against Southwest Baptist. Now, Pitt State entering their first season under head coach Jenny Fuller. Pick it up, bottom of the first inning, 2nd and 3rd from Maddie Szymanski. One hops the wall out there. That scores Taylor Lambert and Paxton Hayes. The Gorillas have their first lead. Same inning, Kiana Pellegrino fights it off, and check out the spin on this one. It gets away. Szymanski scores. Pellegrino would homer later in the game and finish with a team-high 4 RBIs. Second inning now. Gorillas start to pull away with the long ball. Kylie Boley. Opposite field power here. 2-run homer. Gorillas up 5-1 with that. Then later in the second, Keela Griffith with a runner on puts it way up and out to left center. She goes 2 for 3, drives in 3. Gorillas rolling game 1 today 11-2. In game 2, Pitt State trying for the doubleheader sweep. They would win that one 10-3. Gabby Schultz goes 2 for 2 with a double and 4 RBIs. The Gorillas are back in action on Friday, facing William Jewell in Bentonville. 3 of the best football players in Southeast Kansas signed today to continue their careers at the college level. All 3 of them are out of the CNC, with 2 signing in Columbus and 1 in Riverton. We'll start in Columbus. This guy, one of the most under-recruited kids in my career, okay? Gabe Martin signs today to play running back at Baker University. He's a 4-time All-CNC pick and is 2nd in career rushing yards in Columbus high school history. And Cody Schock, he signs today to play for the Pittsburg State Gorillas. Schock will play on the defensive line at Pitt State. He's a 4-year starter for Columbus, a 2022 Kansas Shrine Bowl selection, and was first-team All-State as a senior for the Titans.
It really just stood out to me because they really brought me in and made me feel like it was a family. And it just really the family aspect of everyone, and everyone brought me in like I was just another player. So that's what really brought me to it.
Baker felt like home when I first got there, and they win ball games. They're the most winningest program in NAIA, and I really like to win, so that's a big reason why I went there. Coach Burns said, I feel like I was a little under-recruited. I have things to prove to people, and I'm looking forward to proving people wrong.
To Riverton now, senior Derek Larison signs today to play football at Northeastern State in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. He'll play linebacker for the Riverhawks. Larison, just straight up one of the best all-around athletes we have here. He's a 2-time All-State football player, a state champion in powerlifting, and finished 8th at state in the javelin last spring.
Everything felt like normal. Love the coaches, the people, everyone around me. I just felt like it was the place to be. I've been able to meet a few of the players. There's one kid from Baxter who's already in there, and other than that, I'm the only Kansas kid that has signed this year, so that's kind of cool. I'm kind of be the person that represents Kansas at that school. My first goal is just to kind of get on the field by next year, start playing as a freshman, and kind of see where that goes, hopefully build up and be a really good player in the future.
And that's it for sports. We're back after this.
Protesters, part of the Freedom Convoy in Canada, now making their way to the U.S.-Canadian border. Fox News correspondent Molly Line has more from Ottawa, where protests have been ongoing.
We're Canadian, and we want to be free Canadians.
Increasing concern spreading through Canada and now the U.S. as the Freedom Convoy threatens trade along the border. Truckers blocking traffic at the Ambassador Bridge connecting Detroit and Ontario. A second crossing linking Alberta and Montana also shut down by protesters, calling for an end to all COVID restrictions and vaccine mandates.
We want freedom, freedom of all mandates, and that's what we're fighting for.
The Ambassador Bridge is the busiest international crossing in North America, carrying 25% of all trade between Canada and the U.S. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau accusing protesters of trying to blockade the economy while defending measures taken to protect citizens throughout the pandemic.
We're going to continue to follow the science. We're going to continue to have Canadians' backs. We're going to continue to protect people's lives.
Meanwhile, police in Ottawa continuing their efforts to crack down on protesters there. The Freedom Convoy has been centered in Canada's capital since late January. Police, they're seizing any fuel brought to truckers, cutting off material, financial, and logistical support.
This government is working very closely with the City of Ottawa to provide the police all of the tools and the resources that they need to end this convoy as quickly and as peacefully as possible.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the Biden administration is keeping a close eye on the situation. In Ottawa, Canada, Molly Line, Fox News.
More details released about the upcoming Lightyear movie. Hollywood Nation, coming your way. A dynamic duo moves into Fox. Lightyear keeps building buzz and first look trailers. It's all in today's Hollywood Nation. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Buzz introduces his team, Peele shares a sneak peek, and familiar friends head to Fox in the Hollywood Nation.
This is a straight-up family.
Fox is already home to iconic funny families, The Simpsons, Family Guy, and more. And now Gumby, Pokey, and Friends are moving in too, reimagining the fun for new generations. An animated series, live-action original content, and more are on the way. A first look and a hint of what's in store in Jordan Peele's latest creation, Nope. A teaser video reminds us of horror hits Get Out and Us. A Super Bowl Sunday trailer will reveal more of what's next. Nope stars Daniel Kaluuya, Stephen Yeun, and Keke Palmer and premieres July 22nd.
I gotta find my thing.
Hulu released the trailer to Amy Schumer's Life and Beth. The series is about a woman whose seemingly great life is flipped upside down when she's forced to face her past. Schumer writes, directs, executive produces, and stars in the show, premiering March 18th. And Lightyear gives Buzz a new trailer for the adventure starring Chris Evans as the astronaut who inspired that famous toy. Disney and Pixar also announced Keke Palmer, Dale Soules, and Taika Waititi will join as ambitious recruits, with additional voice cast including Uzo Aduba and James Brolin. Lightyear lands in theaters June 17th.
That was utterly terrifying, and I regret having joined you.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
It's going to be a good movie, I think. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of animals at the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago getting some early Valentine's treats. What are those? I don't know what those are. I don't even know what the treats are. Cookies or something? I don't know. Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.